name is Daryl Carl. Thanks for being with us tonight. In our first story, GCNet, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, is to introduce a new system to aid the application of for tax exemption by public and private sector institutions in the country. The new paperless system, which will be rolled out in January 2018, will facilitate tax mobilization processes. There's more in this report.
GCNet, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, have come together with a revised electronic exemption process that is going to ensure that all municipal district assemblies, apply for exemptions through an electronic process. We're here to get in touch with several stakeholders in relation to this very innovation to find out what this exactly means to them. All public and private entities seeking to acquire tax exemptions on the imported wares will, from the 1st of January 2018, have to do so through a paperless system. This was made known by the Deputy Finance Minister, Kwaku Kwarteng, at the sensitization workshop organized by the Ghana Community Network Services Limited, GCNet, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance. Public and private institutions have earlier complained about the bureaucratic nature of tax applications for tax waivers. GCNet says that under the new paperless system, it will ensure efficiency. Emmanuel Dako is the Acting Deputy General Manager for GCNet.
So that is a purely electronic transaction without anybody having to walk into offices. The manual process also, I have to submit a letter to MD, ABC or whatever, and then the walking there, the coming back, time consuming, and then the possibility of the human interface is for all its sometimes negative side effects also can all be eliminated, and that's the essence of doing it. And so it would all help in expediting the process in terms of trade transactions and customs and port clearances as well. And because it's also electronic and it's been captured, the quality of the data that is captured is also better than paper being used and then one entity capturing it as maybe, let's say, in full as say pieces and another say PCES or whatever it is, so that the data quality then will be consistent.
Deputy Finance Minister Kwaku Kwarteng says the revised portal will go a long way to aid in revenue generation. Speaking to Joy Business at the sidelines of the sensitization workshop, the Deputy Minister noted government has factored the need for the paperless tax exemption application in the 2018 budget.
What we're saying is that approval regime that at the moment is manual, people moving documentation from one office to another, is going to be paperless, so that all the approvals will be given on the system, and then it can leave the trails, and then there will be better record keeping of the exemptions we are giving, which will be necessary for policy formulation, but also to ensure that thresholds given to exemptions holders are not exceeded.
Acting Trade Net Manager of GCNet, Ebenteria Engman, has been explaining to Joy Business the key features of this portal.
The portal, basically, there are three main parts. There's the one for the trader, which is the applicant or the agent, where they go on the portal and then they put in the application to the MD. The MD also have their side of the portal, where they would go there, assess the application that has come in, verify and be sure that the application that has come in really should enjoy exemption. And then they go ahead and then they approve the application. From there, it goes to GRA, which would be made up of customs and VAT, to do the second level approval.
The government last September began the paperless port system to improve efficiency at the ports.
In other news tonight, the country has recorded one of the biggest drops in the latest World Bank Ease of Doing Business report. The data showed that Ghana went down by 12 places to 120. What resulted in this decline and what can be done to improve the situation? Here's George Yaffe's report.
The 2018 World Bank Doing Business report looks at how governments around 190 economies have made it easier for firms in their respective countries to start business. This year's reports track reforms, data and business regulations in these countries between June 2016 and June 2017. It assesses countries based on 11 indicators such as starting a business, access to credit, registering a property, access to electricity, paying taxes, protecting minority investors, trading across borders, enforcement of contracts, and resolving insolvency. Data showed that Ghana actually dropped in most indicators that the World Bank looked at in assessing how regulators have improved the environment, especially for small firms to start business. For instance, when it came to enforcement of contracts, Ghana dropped from 114 to 116. It also dropped from 111 to 116 when it comes to people paying their taxes. Despite this challenge, Ghana was, however, credited for increasing the transparency of dealing with contract permits by publishing regulations related to construction online. Even though the decline was marginal in terms of the overall score, strides made by other countries impacted on Ghana's performance. Ghana also performed better than its peers in the West Africa region, like Ivory Coast and Nigeria. Some analysts have argued the development showed that government may have to up its game in terms of doing more to improve the business environment. However, sources close to government have argued the period that the assessment was done didn't capture most of the reforms that this administration is undertaking, and they are hopeful the results will be seen in next year's ranking.
We turn to agric now. Workers in the formal sector who are desirous of venturing into farming now have the opportunity to do so. ICT solutions provider UCL Ghana Limited and Israeli-based Oz Agribusiness Projects and Investments Limited have launched an innovative program called the Virtual Farmer Program in support of the Planting for Food and Jobs scheme. The Virtual Farmer Program seeks to entice workers in Ghana currently working in the formal sector into agriculture as a diversified means to earning additional income while building a viable venture they can rely on while on retirement. Director of UCL Ghana Limited, Samuel Dodu, tells us more.
The average age for farmers in Ghana is about 55 years. Therefore, there's a need to infuse youth into farming. And moreover, most of the government intervention on farming has been towards the smallholder farmers. So now we're bringing the working group. There are a lot of workers who aspire to be farmers. They sit in their offices and they cannot be farmers because they can't move from their daily work. So virtual farming gives them opportunity to buy shares in existing farms and become owners and become farmers.
So what are the processes to go through in order to become one?
It's very simple. Because we're doing this in collaboration with the Ministry of Food and Agric, you would have to apply to be a member. And then once you apply, we would then take your banker details, and then we'll talk to your bank. We'll look at your credibility. We'll look at your social security if you are a contributor, and then we'll enroll you onto the program. Whilst we're talking about enhancing yield. For instance, we're saying that currently we're doing less than 20 metric tons per hectare for tomatoes. With this program, we're going to do about 60 metric tons. Onions will triple yield. So you would see new farming technologies, new farming mechanisms, and obviously increasing yield means that we can triple the production of crops and make more money for Ghana.
In other news tonight, some players in the banking industry are calling on government to put in place measures to reduce high treasury bill rates. They say this will encourage more deposits at the banks instead of investment in securities. Now, high treasury bill rates in 2016 financial year negatively affected deposits as customers preferred security returns to interest on deposits. Prince Apia has more in this report.
Achumamponia Rural Bank's performance after the 2016 financial year saw profit before tax of over 1.3 million Ghana cedis, but fell after reduction of corporate tax of 25% to 896,000 Ghana cedis. High treasury bill rates in the 2016 financial year negatively affected deposits as customers preferred security returns to interest on deposits. Despite a 15.54% growth in deposits over the period, officials say the situation took a toll on bank profits and loan advances. Noble Isa Mokhtari is General Manager of Achuma Mponia Rural Bank.
You know, somewhere along the line, the T-bills rate was going up. So most people found it more lucrative investing in the T-bill, which is very secured, than to bring your money to the bank. At the end of the day, will pay you an interest rate less than the T-bills rate. Definitely, we cannot pay interest on our deposit up to that tune. So if we are paying less than the T-bills, naturally, it is wise for any person to want to invest in the treasury bills instead of, and that's how the effect has come. So all the deposits that ought to have come to us have now moved to the securities.
Mr. Mokhtari spoke to Law Business at the bank's 33rd annual general meeting held at Twase. He believes it will be good for government to make treasury bills unattractive to enable rural banks in particular to attract deposits.
So until we get to a point where our interest rates are actually equal to the T-bills rate or lower than the T-bills rate, people will continue to put their monies in there. People are now no longer getting the monies for the loans. We are operating, a lot of people are asking for monies for loans. Meanwhile, all the monies are now being moved to T-bills. We expect the various policies, government policies and Bank of Ghana policies to help us in making the T-bills unattractive for people to put in their monies there, so that they should bring the monies to the banks for us to give them out for development. When the monies are sitting with treasury bills, it doesn't add anything to the development of our nation. See, government is borrowing the monies from us. So if government is able to develop other sources of income, they may not go in for the loans, the securities, and that will make monies available for us to operate with.
Prince Apia reporting.
The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is demanding government to crack the whip on public officers found culpable of embezzling state funds. This, according to the union, would save us from corrupt practices that are not only unfair to taxpayers but also defeat the agenda to boost the country's tax revenues for economic growth. The president, Barima Dr. Ofori-Ameyaw, was speaking at the launch of the National Tax Campaign aimed at boosting voluntary tax compliance.
Taxpayers pay for effective running of all state institutions and will be very unfair to abandon the taxpayer again and kill his or her business. The most appalling, let me state, aspect of it all, which is difficult to understand, is the way and manner the money being dissipated, the taxpayers' money being dissipated with reckless abandon by some public, political, and civil servant, and in some cases misapply and misappropriate the funds without any serious effort by the government to pursue the perpetrators of this crime or looters of our tax money, prosecute them, and retrieve all the amount with interest from the day of the commission of the crime. This is the best way to protect public coffers from activities of mischievous or miscreant in society.
You're watching Business Live. Let's get you updated on some other news we're following for you. The Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, has been explaining the country's current tax regime as part of efforts to fund the free SHS program. According to him, the campaign is geared towards amassing funds to support social interventions.
Question becomes, what am I doing with regards to whether I'm paying taxes? I'm sure if I were to take a survey here and ask how many people have ever filed their taxes, a lot of us will be found wanting. But we do get on platforms and talk about what government is not doing and what customs is not doing. So for me, in the coming months and especially next year, is for us to begin to dialogue on that. We look at our distribution of our revenue, and we are nearing 38 to 40% of the revenue that we collect, that GRA collects, to be used as salaries and wages. And it sounds okay, maybe, but that's 650,000 people out of 25 million people who are taking that amount of money. But at the same time, it's not that the wages are, great, and therefore you can say you're going to cut them down. But there are certainly some efficiencies that we can have in the system. But going beyond that then is when a country like ours is about 16% to GDP with regards to tax revenue that we collect, and countries maybe poorer than ours or peer are doing about 20 to 25%. Clearly, we ourselves are also not doing well.
Welcome back to the program. Time now to bring you the Joy Business Van, and we are taking you to the Abossey spare parts market. It's one of the biggest markets for imported vehicle spare parts. Now, jostling through the market to search for even the smallest of spare parts can be very tiring. It is to save vehicle owners the sweat that entrepreneur Vanel Malijiba started Abossey Online. It's an online auto market. He has an interesting story to tell on this edition of the Joy Business Van. Thousands of shops selling imported vehicle spare parts. I'm at one of Ghana's biggest spare parts market, Abossey today, with Vanel Malijiba undertaking one of the most difficult or stressful exercises, shopping for auto spare parts. Vanel does not enjoy being here because of the crowded and busy nature of the market. That, coupled with bad experiences with mechanics, made him start Abossey Online, an online market for spare parts.
I used to import vehicles into the country, and I had this mechanic who would always double prices for me whenever I needed spare parts. Sometimes triple the prices, and so at a point I thought that there were so many people in my shoes who couldn't be sure of what they were buying and couldn't be sure of the right prices, and so it just happened that one early morning I called one guy who was living with me. I said, listen, today Abossey Online starts and you are the first stop. And it just happened.
That was 2 years ago when the telecom consultant Vanel decided to make the move.
So basically we had to sort out our technological needs, and so a portal where people could come make their requests, and then basically a social media page to create the awareness.
That really helped to build the client base of Abossey Online.
Say you needed a Mercedes-Benz struts or shocks, shock absorbers. You basically go to our website www.abosseyonline.com.gh, type that there. If you don't find it there, we have a button that makes you send your request across to the back end for us to give you your quotes. Now, if you find your parts there, then what you do is pay. Basically, we integrated with some payment platforms, so you could just go ahead and enter your details and then pay online via mobile money or via any of the debit cards, and then just purchase, and it's as simple as that. And then we have it delivered to you wherever you are in the country, basically.
Today, Abossey Online receives 150 calls and messages asking for spare parts to be delivered. Once the orders are made, Vanel and his team head to the market in search of the parts requested.
Okay, thanks, yeah.
Effectively meeting the needs of customers means Vanel has to build a good network of suppliers. One of the hurdles for Vanel was convincing vendors to migrate to his online platform.
You know, we have a lot of superstition around. People don't want others to know about their prices. They don't want people to take images of their items, and it's been a real challenge, but we kept on driving it home that, listen, we are in a digital age. We stand a better chance joining the bandwagon, and that is how we've been able to go around it till now.
But things have actually gone better than expected. Awosokan Online is fast growing as more Ghanaians become acquainted with e-commerce. The online platform was adjudged the 2017 Best Online Auto Market at the Ghana Auto Awards. Now, Awosokan Online runs on an app too, and deliveries are all over the country and beyond.
We're hoping to have a very digitized market, spare parts market, where no one will really bother to come to the market before having quality or having affordability. We're looking at getting to a point where Ghanaians could just know that I have Awosokan Online to rely on for all my quality spare parts. And in that way, the vendors as well gain the benefit of having their market spread out across the world.
No more hassle, no more stress if you're a vehicle owner. Welcome back, everyone. Time to bring you our interview of the day. And CEO of Agric-based tractor services, Trotro Tractor, Kamal Yakub, says government must step up private-public partnerships to increase availability of tractor services for farmers. He laments some farmers miss planting seasons as a result of lack of transport services, a situation affecting productivity and undermining agricultural development. He was speaking with Odilia in Tiamwa.
Interview of the day.
The farmer, he offers him or her a guarantee. With Trotro Tractor, I don't need to now walk around looking for tractor services, because in cases that is currently happening on the ground is that a farmer places an order or he goes around coming for a tractor service. He finds an operator. Operator is waiting to see if there are more farmers in the area before he moves, and this can take over 2 weeks. And as you know, we are relying on God to give us the rain. Yeah. So you sit around and before you realize he has moved out of the season.
Yeah, so because I was going to ask you, Kamal, exactly how is this playing out when we have terrible irrigation services in this country? How are you staying in business?
So at the moment, we are developing the model such that we operate within the short window of the rain-fed agriculture. But as the model keeps growing, then we'll be looking at other activities like irrigation, which should be businesses for even other people. So the government's agenda of one village, one dam should be people's business. But they should understand that when I have this business, there are farmers who can pay for those services.
Interview of the day.
And that's our show tonight. Thanks for watching. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. There you get all the business stories, plus the videos for all our news bulletins, just in case you missed out on them. My name is Daryl Kwa. We are back same time tomorrow.